Swoop with Jamie Costello. We start breaking news at 5 o'clock tonight.
A verdict has been reached now in the case of Baltimore's former top prosecutor, Marilyn Mosby. She was facing 2 federal counts of perjury.
WMER 2 News' Brittany Werner live outside the federal courthouse in Greenbelt. You've been covering this story for us all week. Brittany, tell us about the jury's decision.
Well, Kelly and Jamie, it's been a very intense day of deliberations today. The jury met back this morning here at the federal courthouse in Greenbelt and spent around 8 hours deliberating before reaching that guilty verdict. Now we're going to roll on video and show you Marilyn Mosby leaving the courtroom today. She still seemed to be in good spirits despite the news of the guilty verdict. If you've been following along all week with us, you know that yesterday was day 3. That's when both the government and public defenders gave closing arguments. Then the judge gave specific instructions to the jury about the process of deliberations. Mosby was found guilty of 2 perjury charges after receiving money from her retirement fund during COVID. She was able to access the funds because of the CARES Act, which was offered to all Baltimore City employees who could access up to $100,000 of their retirement funds during COVID. Mosby selected adverse financial consequences due to COVID as the reason for her needing the funds, and the government says that was a lie. Mosby accessed 2 payments totaling $90,000 from her retirement account. Prosecutors believe she wanted the funds to use as a down payment on an investment property, and they believe she took advantage of something that was meant to provide relief for people during COVID. Defense attorneys argued she did believe she was suffering from adverse financial consequences, but were not able to convince the jury. Today, on day 4, the jury met back for a full day of deliberations before coming up with that guilty verdict on both perjury charges. Now, neither Mosby nor anyone from the prosecuting team wanted to comment on that guilty verdict. We do know that they said there's still 2 charges pending for mortgage fraud charges, and that will be a separate trial. Right now, it's unclear when we could expect to see that sentencing happen. Reporting live in Greenbelt, Brittany Werner, WMAR 2 News.
Let's rock on the mic. What's up, everybody? And you are listening to the best of the Media Mike Radio Show. And I'm your host, the Media Mike Speaks, sponsored by New Justice Media, where we are the voice of the everyday citizen. The time is now 35 minutes past the hour here in the Lone Star State. So let's get to it before it's too late. All right, people. Yeah, I fell behind a little bit, but what is going on with all of these prosecutors? What is going on with all of these mayors? Marilyn Mosby, or Mosby, whichever one it is. The verdict is in. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the verdict is in. Found guilty on 2 counts of perjury. Now, she is facing prison time. I don't know if she'll actually do the whole time, but this is federal. You know, federal don't play. So I know she's not going to do no 15 years. I'm predicting 3 years. 3 years. She may get out in a year and a half. But she's appealing. Don't know how that's going to work, but hey, no problem. She's fighting for her life. So I did a video on her trial a while back, and they laid it to rest, and the verdict came in. The jury deliberated, and they came back with guilty. So this federal jury on Tuesday convicted the former top prosecutor in Baltimore, Marilyn Mosby, of lying to a mortgage lender in 2021 as she purchased a vacation property in Florida that she called her private oasis. U.S. authorities in Maryland alleged that Mosby, 44, lied to mortgage lenders while purchasing 2 Florida vacation homes, one in Kissimmee, just minutes from Disney World, and a beach condominium in Longboat Key. Now, she was balling out. And this what gets me. We have individuals, and it's just sad that a lot of them are women at this point, African-American women also. And you have thrown in some Caucasian women, but Is this the year? The last 2-3 years is the year of the woman. And they're all falling like dominoes. Or is it that they didn't come from money? And apparently so. I don't know all of their backgrounds, but it appears to me they didn't come from hardly any money, and they got this money and didn't know what to do with it. And then all the corruption started. So after deliberating for one day, the jury acquitted Mosby of fraud related to the first property but convicted her of making a false statement to a mortgage lender in 2021 to acquire the second one. Mosby sobbed as the verdicts were read. She cried. And this is what gets me. We have no room for tears. You know what you did. Now you're going back into the shell of, I'm starting crying. Okay, stop. Really? Now it's time to grow up. Grow up. Actions have consequences. There are punishments usually behind some of those things. Suck it up. You did it. You paid the price for it. Because you see, she was convicted of perjury in a separate trial in November over her moves to withdraw $90,000 from her retirement funds. You saw that in the video. As you heard in the video, which she used as down payments for the Florida homes. This would get me. You have $90,000 in your fund to help you out later on, so you won't have to work in your elder years, and you're going to go withdraw the money and go buy some property. Like you balling out, like you know, it's good have been, I don't know, but apparently it's not going to work out. Now you're back to nothing. This was stupid. Now, in this case, for her doing that, prosecutors argued that Mosby falsely claimed she was experiencing financial hardships during the coronavirus pandemic to access the money through a CARES Act program. That was really dumb. Mosby lost her bid for re-election in 2022, so she's been tried in the court of public opinion. And based on all this went down, she was facing these charges. Yeah, she was not going to get reelected. And she now faces the prospect of decades in prison when she is sentenced later this year in a United States District Court in Greenbelt. She is appealing for the perjury convictions. Yeah, but she's going to do some time. On mortgage documents in 2020 and 2021, federal prosecutors said Mosby failed to disclose that she had unpaid federal taxes and that, now this woman has unpaid federal taxes. And she's taken out $90,000 to buy property. And she knows that she has unpaid federal taxes. Where in the hell is her priorities? Please, someone tell me. Oh, I guess this is an African-American thing, which is a slight, which I found very disheartening. And a lot of African-Americans should be ashamed of that. Just like in the case of Fonnie Willis. She's talking about, I keep cash and this and that and that. That's pathetic and sad to me. In the 21st century, we are 2 decades in, and we're still talking about some old 1950s mindset. You don't pay your bills. Think about it. It's the same thing. Fonnie Willis is up there, had a lien on her property. Instead of her paying that, she took the money to go somewhere else, to go on a vacation. And then she's going to snap back talking about, you trying to tell me how to pay my bills? Well, actually, you should pay your bills. It's a mixed priority. I'm ashamed of that. That's a backwards way of thinking. You're supposed to be so educated, but you're stupid. Get this, people. She had unpaid federal taxes, Mosby, and that the IRS had placed a $45,000 lien against all properties owed by her and her husband, Nick Mosby. He was the president of the Baltimore City Council. Oh, God. Now, an assistant U.S. attorney, Aaron Zelinsky, said during closing arguments that Marilyn Mosby was not the confused first-time home buyer she claimed to be, and that she made 11 false statements to mortgage lenders to secure a better deal and favorable interest rates on the vacation homes. He goes on to say she was the top prosecutor of the city of Baltimore and oversaw hundreds of lawyers. You know what prosecutors know a lot about. Fraud, mortgage fraud, unquote. Yeah. Now, Mosby testified she was unaware of the unpaid. Okay. Lady, you know about unpaid taxes. You get mail. You know what you have not paid. You know when you file your taxes, what you owe. So it's not about you unaware. You know that you owe. Now, you may not have known how much you owe, but you know that you owe. But anyway, she testified she was no, wait, I back up. I digress. Hold up. I stand corrected. Mosby testified she was aware of the unpaid taxes when she submitted the first loan application in July 2020, but thought her husband was making timely payments on an installment plan with the IRS, which is not going to help you out because the interest is going to eat you up. Mosby public defenders argued that she was a home buyer novice who was misled by her husband and mortgage broker. No, the bottom line is, okay, if you still was aware of your unpaid taxes, ma'am, why don't you take the money out and go ahead and pay the taxes? Go ahead and pay your bills. On the witness stand, Nick Mosby told the jury he spent years hiding the couple's tax debts from Marilyn Mosby, who had threatened to leave him unless he sorted out his finances. Okay, good for you, man, trying to stick up for your wife, and you too are an idiot. Throughout his entire process, I lied to her about everything being okay with the taxes. That's not going to help your wife, man. Now, I don't know if you was getting back at her because, you know, she had got up there and surpassed her. Y'all went to college together and all that type of stuff, and then you felt some type of way. I don't know. So, and the reason why I'm saying this, good people, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I'm saying this is because, listen up, the mortgage fraud trial revealed how the Mosby's marriage was eroding behind the scenes as the couple climbed in the Baltimore ranks. Nick Mosby felt wounded when his wife gained prominence in her own right as Baltimore's top prosecutor and began to earn more money than he did, according to Maggie Grace, a public defender for Marilyn Mosby. There's still no excuse. I mean, so now goes on to say, I guess Mosby said, "Fix this or I'm leaving." Your husband ain't got to do jack. If you making all the money, you're going to be paying him, ma'am. What do you mean, fix this or I'm leaving? If you're making the money, you still gonna have to pay. Now I don't know the child support or the alimony laws in Maryland. I don't know, but the bottom line is I'm pretty sure if you're making the money, you're gonna be paying something. So she was upset, either fix it or she's leaving. She told her husband one point about the unpaid taxes. Nick Mosby had a news conference in late 2020 claiming he had paid back all the tax debt but that turned out to be another lie, according to the lawyers in the case. The Mosby have since divorced. Well, apparently apparently it seems to me the fix was in. He was out to get her that way. I mean, that's what it appears to be. I mean, this is bad for her. And get this, her husband, Nick Mosby, had not been a credible trial witness. Nick Mosby had a laundry list of financial troubles that his wife had to know about. According to the prosecution, they said his wages were garnished because of unpaid student loans, his car was repossessed, and he was behind on his mortgage, according to trial testimony. This is a grown man. This is a grown man, and he can't handle his finances. In early 2021, Marilyn Mosby transferred $5,000 to her husband's account, only to have it returned to her as a gift from a disinterested party, which would help her lock down a favorable interest rate in one of the Florida properties prosecutors alleged. The jury said its guilty verdict was based on this false statement. She messed herself up. But jurors did not find that the other statements, including statements on mortgage applications indicating she had no tax debt, were criminal. The IRS mailed dozens of unpaid notices to the couple's Baltimore home over 5 years, according to an expert testifying at trial. Okay, give you leeway on that one. But the bottom line is, you know what you did, Marilyn. And get this. Prosecutors also alleged that Marilyn Mosby signed a second home rider on the Kissimmee property, which had 8 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, and a pool that allowed her to obtain a lower mortgage rate. But the boon was contingent on a promise that Mosby would use the property primarily as a second home. Instead, Mosby hired a property management company, Executive Villas, to rent the home when she wasn't there and had to book her own stays through that company, according to a contract she signed. She knew what she was doing. If you're going to take out a loan or get money for a second home, you better be living there. You better be going back and forth. Mosby testified that she did not read every single document, but you are an attorney. She signed in September 2020 when she closed on the Kissimmee home, and that she did not recall specifically signing the second home rider. So how did your signature get on a document, Marilyn? Grace, her defense attorney, said Mosby rented out the property as she believed she was able to allow to do. No, she signed it to Boone, saying the fact that it's your second home, meaning you would occupy the property. The sad part about this is, people, her and her husband were once a political power couple in Baltimore. They met in college and have 2 daughters together, this is how you do it. A lot of people meet their spouses in college. They divorced in November. In the perjury case, a different jury found Mosby lied about suffering financial losses so she could withdraw money from her retirement account. All of this, you'll fall from grace. All of this for what? Nothing. For some property. You couldn't keep your money, keep your head together, and purchase that later. But instead, you threw it all away. So it seems you'll be in time. You'll be doing time. Like the very people that you put away. This is sad and it's pathetic. No, I do not wish her the best. I do not wish her well. She deserves everything that's coming to her. And no, she doesn't get any grace, good people. She doesn't. Because when you reach that height, you go to law school, you go to college, get your bachelor's degree, go to law school, get your law degree, you pass the bar, and you make it to the top prosecuting position in the city, and you blow it. You don't deserve any grace. It's like they always say, count your blessings. You didn't care about them. You had them, and you threw them all away. Until next time, this is your guy, Mr. Educator, Mr. Communicator, Mr. Free Thinker. Subscribe, share, and like to keep me rocking on the mic. Have a good night.
Understand you soon, it won't be long. Keep on, keep running.